Yeah, we're almost to the end of the year, man. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. It's
yeah.
it's gone quickly. It's gone quickly. So what do you want to
It's
hit on
crazy.
first? What do you want
Yeah.
to hit on first?
So I think just keeping it on topic on Husker football for at least the beginning right here. Um, let's talk about signing day.
Okay.
Because there were some, not a lot of surprises, but there were some. I think my biggest takeaway was Malachi choosing to stay with Nebraska. Not tempted by Coach Prime over there in Colorado. Um, and that was really good. I mean, so I was down in Houston, for Christmas and everything. So we kind of watched that live. And
Hmm.
but I was talking to my parents, our parents, while it was happening. You were back in your room because you're like, I need no distractions. And
Yes.
then we both saw it at the same time. I looked up, you ran out, and we're just like, yes.
Yeah, I just gave you the
um,
big thumbs up.
yeah, yeah. So it was so that was good. That was good. And
Yeah.
that's really big too, for Rhule just in general,
Hmm.
because the biggest in-state recruit, one of the best recruits in
Huge.
the country, um, not even just in the state of Nebraska, but that's huge. So yeah,
Huge. No, it is. And everyone made a big deal about him decommitting and then foregoing his visit to Michigan to go visit Colorado and Coach Prime.
yeah,
It's Coach Prime. That's you make a big deal out of that. And essentially, that's kind of my whole take on the situation is that's kind of why he did it because it's Coach
hmm,
Prime. Like if you're a brand, if you're trying to build your brand, and in this era of college football, that's what everyone's trying to do. If you're trying to build your brand, you almost can't afford to miss the opportunity to at least associate with Prime for a little bit. Um,
yeah,
so
and,
I think that
and
was his mindset, and I think he probably even told Matt Rhule that whenever
yeah,
he said because they had a
and also
conversation when he was going to decommit.
yeah, and also like if you read like when he said he was like reopening, like it was not that I don't want to be at Nebraska. It was there's a change in guard. I've met them, but I want to see if there is somebody that I connect with more now that the coaching carousel happened. And I don't fault any player for doing that. Like they committed to another coaching staff and whatever. It's sad to lose some of these guys. But in the transfer portal age. We've talked about that before. Even these incoming freshmen, just because we get them signed and enrolled on campus as true freshmen, doesn't mean that they're going to be here
Hmm.
contribute.
Hmm.
Um, I think one of the people that we uh, lost, Omarion Miller.
Omarion Miller, yeah,
That was I remember watching his tape, and I was really excited for him as well. He ended up going to where did he go?
he ended up committing to Colorado.
That's right. That's right. He went to Colorado. Okay.
All
Um,
right.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, but well, all in all, um, I don't know. What are your thoughts about like just in general on, you know,
I
the
mean,
signing day?
here's the thing, man. Malachi, if we're still on the topic of Malachi is going to make an instant impact.
Yeah.
He really is. I mean, the guy just has flat out speed and size and potential,
Yeah.
and it really is like he's the type of athlete that is going to come in and at the very least he'll play his 4 games before they redshirt him.
Yeah.
Um, at the very least, they're going to find ways to get him out on the field in some form or fashion this year. So it's a big commitment, and I'm glad to talk about it now. I feel comfortable talking about it now on this podcast when it comes to Malachi because not only is he committed, he's signed, and so that was a surprise of the signing day because the thought on Malachi was that he was not going to sign this early
Hmm.
in the early signing day, but he ended up making the announcement early that morning. Announcement coming, and I will sign today. And sort of as soon as he said that, I was like, he's coming to Nebraska. I don't think he would have signed that like that if he was just going to flip and go to some.
Yeah.
Maybe he would have, but I just had the feeling as soon as he made that announcement that he was going to go to Nebraska. So we're excited for Malachi. One of the things that was
Yeah.
also exciting about this signing class was he got offensive line and defensive line talent. from both the high school ranks and the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Of note to me, you get Mason Goldman, offensive tackle from Gretna. He needs to put on weight. He's 260, but he's 6'6". He moves well. He's those linemen that
Six
we
six
need.
260.
Mm-hmm,
Oh
six
wow,
six two.
he's pretty thin then.
Yes, he's pretty thin. He
Yeah.
needs to put on weight, but he moves well. That is the most
Yeah.
important thing at that position. Princewell Umanlayan. Princewell Umanlayan. I think that's how you pronounce
Yeah.
it. He's a four-star edge rusher out of Texas. And if you remember, a
His
couple,
brother. His
yeah, yeah,
brother played with Rhule, right?
I believe so. It was something like that. Well, all
He
I know is his
because Rhule
is
was
Rule
talking about
recruited.
it.
Yeah, Rule recruited his brother. I believe when he was at Baylor,
Yeah.
and his mom, Prince Will's mom, has an Nigerian food restaurant
Hmm.
in Austin. And back in the day when Rule was at Baylor, he went to that restaurant and it got the older brother to commit.
Yeah.
And then this last time he went there and posted the picture of the food and with no context or anything because he knew Prince Will would know.
Yeah.
And it got him to commit. So that's a good commitment
Yeah.
out of Texas. And then also in the transfer portal, if we're talking on the line, we got 300-pound defensive lineman, former four-star Elijah Judy out of A&M, and he was part of that, whatever you call it, number one recruiting class of all time. Yeah,
The
whatever
Jimbos.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a big one. You just need bodies in there. You never know
Yeah.
really who's going to emerge as a player. You just need like feasible potential
Yeah.
in that
Outside of
position.
like, I don't want to get into the nitty gritty on names. We have a whole off season to really dig deep into
Right,
these guys.
right.
In terms of rankings, I remember when Scott left, we were around, well, left makes it seem like he went on his own, fruition there. But, um,
He chose to leave.
he chose to leave.
Yeah,
But whenever he got fired, we got some decommits, but not a lot. And then I think the last time I checked, it was around 45 or 50. And what were we at the tail end of that day? And now,
Oh,
do you know?
22, 21, 22.
It is top 25 now.
Oh, you mean in the rankings? I thought you meant the amount
Yes.
of kids. No, yeah, it's 26, 20. Like the highest ranking I ever saw it was 26. But expect the commitment of four-star Cam Linhart out of IMG Academy. He'll commit on the third for the Under Armour All-American game, so that'll bump our rating. And then we'll get another commitment from a defensive back that same day, high three-star defensive
Yeah.
back. So that'll help our rating as well, just with numbers wise. So we'll be in the top 25 when it's
Yeah.
all said and done.
And one thing that and it's great for your first year.
Hmm.
Just starting off on good. And if you remember correctly, Scott had a really good first year too. Lots of kids wanted to play for him. He was the hot commodity and all that. But it's really good to, get the ball rolling, especially for future, getting those young guys in. But I think one of the best things about that ranking is the fact that we're number one in the Big Ten West. We have the best recruiting class in the Big Ten West. And if you look at the Big Ten West teams, we should. And that is something that we should. I mean, just in terms of like blue blood, what Nebraska carries with it, we should definitely be there. The teams that are ahead of us are, I believe, Michigan State, just in terms of the Big Ten, Michigan State, Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State,
Hmm.
probably. But that's really not bad class to be behind, except for Michigan State, which I think we might overcome them, because their guy's a good recruiter too. He's
We'll
really good.
see. Well, I mean, we're talking about straight up 2023 recruiting rankings at this point,
Yeah,
but I mean, don't forget now we have the number 19 ranked transfer portal class at this point as well, and
yeah,
expect more to come because there's
yeah,
there's more
definitely
needs. But
a
I
lot
mean,
more
we've
to be
already
built
picked
there.
up Ben Scott, transfer from Arizona. That's a big one. Offensive lineman. He's going to play center for us. Chief Borders, four-star out of Florida.
Yeah,
From Florida. I mean, like he's picking up dudes in the transfer portal too, so he hasn't forgotten about that aspect of
yeah,
the game, which I appreciate.